absolutely. So, Asian Change Day for me is an opportunity to be part of that change community. So, after having obviously the ones in Toronto and Berlin, I was super excited to have something at a more, Australian friendly time zone. And for me, it ticks all the boxes. If you think about, world class speakers, but it also ticks the box in the sense of having some local speakers. So it's that perfect mix of global and local that basically tick the boxes like every other conference. But yeah, I think the time zone is like so much better. So you actually get the most out of that, 2.5 days. And I think what made it really, really special for me is that community. So you might see a speaker and you might join their workshop, which a lot of times is really interactive. So I enjoy that interactive instead of just being, a listener, you're actually a participant. So you're actively participating in the session, and you might actually have a speaker, and then in the next session they're the participant in a breakout session with you. So you actually link all of the different kind of contents, and it's really rich interaction that I absolutely loved from the first time I attended. And I'm assuming no pressure, Sarah, but this year will be pretty similar.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting. It's one of the principles of Change Days is that the faculty are learners also, and they are equal to the audience that they serve. And so we actually ask our facilitators to be part of the event, not just to come and give their workshop and then disappear. And it's actually a really, really important part of Change Days. Did you have a favorite workshop or a favorite couple of workshops? You've been for a couple
Yeah,
of.
there's probably way too many to choose from, but I think what I really appreciate is some of the speakers are actually, same as me, repeat guests or repeat speakers.
Yeah.
So you actually get different facets, and it's almost like sometimes they actually build on their content that they might have presented the first year, the second year. Like, Jeffer, for example, is a good one, or Alison, she's been a repeat. So it's
Mary
those,
Alice?
yeah.
Yeah.
And this year there's a couple of people that I might have met last year or the year before as participants, and this year they're actually speakers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you go girl, or you go man, love it. And it's like, once again, it's like, oh, which one of the workshops am I actually listening into? Because there's just way too many good speakers, so it's spoiled for choices.
This year we're actually doing a few things differently. We're actually having facilitated conversations as well as workshops, so that for people who just really want to get into a subject in depth can actually be part of a group conversation about that subject. So I think that'll be an interesting part to be part of as well.
See, it's always pushing boundaries, which is exactly why I love it. It's like, it's constantly getting better, and it gives me ideas as well. So it's like obviously from the facilitators, from the other participants, but also just like, what can I do? Even simple things like when I facilitate workshops,
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
idea. And, just keep building in that little toolkit. So yeah, it's amazing. So I can't wait.
So what would you say to other people who haven't been to Australasian Change Days, and why you think that they would benefit from coming?
It's probably a little bit like, what do you want to get out of it? Because it has so many different kind of aspects that it actually caters for a lot of different outcomes that you're interested in. You might be interested in, like, personal development, or contributing a little bit to, shaping some of the thoughts in the change community. That might be one of the reasons why you're coming. Or you might actually want to, be part more of the change community and expand your network. And that might be something that you're interested in. Or you might actually, be interested in, like, oh, I'm a little bit stuck to kind of come to one of the keynote speakers this year with Jason Little. I'm a little bit stuck. How do I actually get unstuck as a professional? So it has a lot of different kind of things, and sometimes like, oh, I'm actually here for this, but then I also get, it's almost like a bouquet, like you get, or a buffet, that you kind of, you get so many different things out of it. And sometimes you go in with one thing and you actually end up with something completely different, and it's such an amazing surprise.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I absolutely love it, is like, it just ticks a lot of boxes, if not, even more than you could even imagine going into that. So it's surprising, it's, refreshing, and just hanging out with, changes. Um, changes are an amazing bunch of people to hang out with. So what else would you be doing for 2.5 days?
That's right. It's interesting because one of the reasons I kept going back to Berlin Change Days was the community. And people, again, come from all over to go to Berlin Change Days. And it was a weekend that I knew that some of my favorite people were going to be in the same place at the same time. And that in itself became an attraction. And so I'm glad to hear catching up with people that you've met in previous years and built connection with then is now for you the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, come and join.
Thanks, Anja.